the season continues, and as I get started here, we have reinstated Michael Qualls and Landis Harris, so we have our team back. We have our full team back, and so the suspension has been lifted, and they will practice today. And that's on the heels as we get ready for an Alabama team that's, pretty much has come up short in some games here recently, but kind of like us. But at the same time, both teams are desperate to get a win, and we want to certainly make sure we take care of a home court here at Bud Walton Arena. Let one slip away with Missouri. The last game here, and so we want to make sure that we continue the trend of playing good basketball here. So again, the Alabama team, Relaford, Trevor Relaford, having a great year. He's one of the better guards in the league, one of the top assists, and he's scoring at a high clip this year as well. The guy that's really starting to come on for them is Shannon Hill. I think he's a guy that can stretch forward, that can step out and shoot the basketball. Is playing well for him. They just got Obasahan back, a guy that's getting double figures for him. So it's an Alabama team that's very athletic, and we need a couple of days of good practice and hopefully build on that second half of the LSU game. I thought we were a lot more aggressive in terms of attacking their zone. We're going to probably see some more zone, and as you see zones, you got to make shots. But I was really got a chance to watch some film of our game, and watching Bobby and Moses in there at the same time. They did a lot of good things for us, moving the basketball, Moses protecting the rim, Kiko knocking shots down. So some good things that took place in that game.
Mike, did you just meet with Landis and Michael? Did they have to somehow convince you that they were ready to come back?
Yeah, and they had some things they had to get done. So, but they're ready. They're ready. We met with them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what all went into the decision to reinstate that?
Say it again?
Well, what all went into it?
There are some things they had to do. I mean, there's some conditions that they got to meet. And at this point here, they satisfy that, met with me, and now we're ready to move forward.
Is that what you were doing just now?
Pardon me?
Is that what did you just?
I was in my office today.
Okay. I thought maybe they met with you in your office. Are you just going to play them as normal then Wednesday night, or?
Oh, we got practice. We got a couple of days of practice, so they still got everybody works in practice and competes in practice, and that's where you get the playing time.
You said we've got our team back. Do you think their absence affected your team on Saturday?
It's one thing when guys are suspended off of a team, it don't have that effect on your team until you actually play. I mean, even in practice, we had some pretty good practices, but I just thought going into the game, I thought our guys found the effects, and of course LSU has something to do with that too. They were making shots, and we weren't making shots. So by the halftime, I thought we made some adjustments in terms of getting more aggressive defensively and offensively, and I thought that gave us a nice rhythm in the game.
What kind of boost does that give you, the team having those guys back?
Well, I think this team is a family, and so some of their family members didn't have a chance to practice, didn't have a chance to play. So I think that's huge, and what those guys brought to the table. You're talking about your second leading scorer, maybe your fourth leading scorer. They bring a level of toughness, athletic ability to our basketball team.
With them coming back, does that affect how much you'll use Portis and Kingsley there versus how much Corey plays?
No, we'll continue those guys continue to be out there on the floor. So I thought even in the LSU game, I thought we had some guys that got tired. And I thought that affected us defensively, even as we made our run on LSU. So we'll have those guys, hopefully they'll be ready to go.
I don't think Alabama's won a game on the road in more than a year, and obviously they've really struggled lately. Are you guys in a position to take anyone lightly at this point?
No one is. I think you talk about February as a month you want to remember. So we want to gather some momentum, and obviously having a game at home is we've played well at home at times for the most part, and we just want to build on it and just try to continue to get better. This is when you want to put all those things together. We've been close in so many games that's just not getting over the hump. We spotted LSU 15 points and cut it to 6, just couldn't quite get over that hump. The games prior to that, we're right there where we need to be, and so maybe now we've learned our lessons in January that we can apply those in February.
I guess Bobby and Moses are in there together when you cut it to 6, and then LSU kind of built it back up. But what were those guys doing? I think it was about 6.5 minutes they played together. What were they doing together that was positive?
I think they complement each other, whether it be against his own high-low. Moses was doing a great job of sealing, occupying people. Bobby was catching the ball and in some instances getting all the way to the hole, making nice passes out of the post. He does a good job of really sealing and screening. And Moses protects the rim. I think Moses is one of the bigger guys we have. He's probably one of our more physical guys back there. There was one possession he may have blocked 2 or 3 shots, and so he's good at protecting that rim. Very, very active. So I think they kind of read off and fill off each other, and not only that, give you some size for rebounding purposes.
Is there an area maybe where Alabama, you've seen on film where Alabama might be struggling that you feel like you can take advantage?
Well, I think Alabama, you're going to see probably more zone. They're a very athletic team. They got, they have the 7-footer, and I think the Engstrom kid, 7-footer. So they have some size themselves. Nick Jacobs, good size guy. So we got to try to make depth an issue. So I want to see us rev it up on our defense and really get intense on our defense. And I think that puts us in a rhythm offensively. And we saw that in the LSU game. Once our guys really got engaged defensively, getting stops, pushing and attacking the basketball, pushing the ball down the floor and attacking the gaps of the zone and knocking shots down. There was less thinking.
You look at Alabama, they've had a lot of close losses away from home at UCLA, Duke, and New York. I mean, the Auburn game was pretty bad, but most of the losses have been pretty tight. Watching them, do you see maybe some of the similar things you guys have been going through, the struggles?
Well, very similar. It's not finishing. You got to make finishing plays, whether that be on the offensive end or the defensive end. I think that's, if you ask Coach Grant, he would say the same thing. We just didn't make the finishing plays. And when you do make those plays, you come out on the other end. And a classic game would be their game against LSU. I mean, they had a chance, they had a lead. LSU made a run and took the lead. But they didn't fold their tent. They had some guys make plays. Hale made some shots. They got some stops going down the stretch as well.
How type of guy is Relaford, and is he a guy you can wear down because he's playing pretty serious minutes?
He's a very good player. He's real clever. He's old school. I call him old school. Young kid that I had in my camps when I was at Missouri. So I'm very familiar with him, and he's one of those guys. He's a gamer. He can get to the basket. He's really improving shooting the basketball. So he's an attacking guard, but crafty, old school. So hopefully that'll be the key is trying to make sure he's the head of that basketball team. And if you're going to do something with that body, you got to cut the head off, and he is the head of their team.
Do you cut it off by just putting a lot of pressure on them?
It'll be a combination of just making sure we're where he is and try to keep him out of the lane. I think that's where he does his biggest damage, inside the lane, attacking.
I understand you had some travel trouble coming back from LSU. What happened there with the trip back?
Yeah, we did. We ended up getting home, I think, what time, 3:30-ish. We were set to leave at 7:30, and I guess as we trying to get ready to get to our approach to take off, we had a little roundabout, and we kind of ran off the runway a little bit there. One of the wheels came off the runway, so it's there in the grass, and as you try to rev it up, it wasn't going anywhere. So with all the fuel, the luggage, and people on there, so we had to abandon it and then had another plane come in. So it made, you're leaving at, let's say, 8 o'clock, and you get home at 3. We didn't leave till probably about 1:30-ish. So we are in the FBO for quite a while. So had a little bonding time.
Yeah, it's a tough road trip anyway. I mean, you have to suspend a couple guys, you lose a tough game, and you got to sit at the airport for 5
That's adversity, Bob. That's adversity there, man. You get your butt kicked, and then you got to stay there as well. And but we got home before the snow and before the bad weather. So the guys had the day off yesterday, so that was, I'm sure they slept quite a bit.
One of the players tweeted out the pilot was texting him, but I understood that was a joke. The pilot wasn't texting him, was he? No. Just making sure.
Any other questions?
You guys have to report to the FAA or something if you do that, or FCC or whoever does that stuff.
Any other
Open
questions?
zone, you played a lot of zone, I guess, to a point when, does that take your aggressiveness out? I mean, that's what you said you kind of got going in the second half when you...
Well, I think we're a team that plays multiple defenses, and I think with in that game there, all right. That's a salute there, huh? Okay. But I thought in that game, we were a little passive coming out. We started off trying to get them, make them shoot jump shots, and they just happened to make theirs, and we missed ours. But I thought we were on our heels from that standpoint. They came out and they punched us. They rebounded the basketball, and I thought later on, even in that first half, I thought we got after a little bit, but more so in the second half, I thought we were a lot more aggressive, a lot more assertive. Played man and we played some zone as well, but I thought when we played that zone, we were a lot more assertive, we were a lot more aggressive with it.
LSU, obviously, they're really good up front. What do you think of Bobby's game against those guys? 'Cause he had 15 points, I think 5 steals, and rebounded pretty well. And then he'd been struggling someone on the road. What do you think about his play on the road against a really good?
I thought as the game went on, I thought he got a little bit better. I thought as the game went on, he got a little bit better, and we just got to continue to get better defensively. I thought our defense, especially in the post, I didn't think it was great, especially early on. I mean, they were getting shots and putting them right back in there. And the second half, we made them work a little harder. But even with that being said, there was some times we got caught real high on the high post and let them catch it too easy. So we got some work in that area to do. But that comes back to being more aggressive, more assertive. You get guys that really scoring in that paint. Our defense is get in there and double up and make sure they get rid of that basketball. But we didn't. Those guys were able to make individual plays, and you let Johnny O'Brien do that, he's going to hurt you. And the Mickey kid had a pretty good game as well.